Moments That Matter is brought to you by Binkley Ross Family of Funeral Homes and First Southern Bank.
Welcome to Moments That Matter, a podcast brought to you by the Voyage Senior Living, where we share conversations that educate, inspire, and connect our communities. I'm your host, Melise Oakley, and today we are discussing a topic that is changing our future of healthcare, integrative medicine. Joining us today is Shoshana Church, a physician assistant with Priority Medical Group. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming in today. Tell me a little bit about the difference, the way that you do medicine, say, than your conventional medicine.
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. So I've got about 23 years of experience in family practice, and most of that has been conventional medicine.
Okay.
Up until about the last 4.5 years or so. And I have been branching into integrative or more functional medicine models. So as a conventional medicine provider, you're trained in systems.
Right.
You're trained to know, like, okay, it's your heart. Let's deal with that. It's your blood pressure. Let's give you a pill. It's your kidneys. Let's send you to the nephrologist. Those kinds of things. But in integrative medicine, we take it a step further. And we actually look at, why do you have high blood pressure? Let's get down to the bottom of that and see if we can figure it out before we have to medicate. Or if we do medicate, then let's see what we can do to change your body's reactions to foods and different things like that. So hopefully we don't have to stay medicated.
What I like about your clinic is that you look at the whole picture, like you said. Mm-hmm. Kind of describe that on when I'm saying the whole picture. What kind of things do you do that's a little extra in your clinic?
If you were my patient and you came in and you sat down in my exam room, first of all, I would listen. I'm going to hear what you have to say. I want to know what your concerns are. What are you dealing with? Then we can start breaking that down. So if you're not sleeping well, we can talk about things that you can do to change how you're sleeping. If you are having digestive issues, we can talk about things that we can do there. So I'm going to look at the whole person. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be just, we're going to talk about insomnia today and let's give you a sleeping pill. It's not that way. We're going to look at what is happening in your life day to day to day that might be affecting the way that you sleep.
And you look at like the holistic part, right? First, like with the things that you've done, it's not just, like you said, just a pill. So kind of explain that.
First of all, we want to look at the body itself. And the only way to do that, obviously, is to get some lab work. So we do lab work, but we do a different kind of lab panel than most conventional practices will do. We look at your nutrients. And so we're looking at vitamin levels and, your ferritin, your folate, your homocysteine. We're looking at all these different lab values that are going to give us a clue as to what is going on inside your body. And the other thing that we do that we're kind of known for is food sensitivity testing. Mm-hmm. So some people look at that and go, oh my gosh, that's just woo-woo stuff. But it's not. It's real. If you're eating foods that are standard American diet, which by the way spells the word sad, if you're eating those foods, your body's not going to digest a lot of that stuff if your system is sensitive to them. Let's just say you're eating bread every day and you have a gluten sensitivity. Now, I'm not talking about an allergy.
Right.
But I'm talking about a sensitivity, and then after you eat, you get bloated or you're gassy or, you got to go to the bathroom right away or something. We find that information out by testing, and then the ball's in your court. You have to figure out, are you going to follow this guideline, and are you going to see how it changes the way you feel or not? So we figure it out, we flesh out the information, and then we hand it over to you to kind of, do your part.
Right?
Yeah, you got to do your part and figure out, okay, well, I'm eating this and I shouldn't be, so let me try not eating that for a while and see how I feel. And chances are, I would bet all the money in the bank that you're going to feel better eliminating those foods.
For instance, I had taken the test and I'm sensitive. Correct. I'm not allergic. I'm sensitive to eggs and walnuts. well, that used to be on my salads, and you don't think eggs are good for you, walnuts are good for you, but my body did not. And so it was really neat to see, okay, I need to eliminate that. Or if I do have an egg, then there are things that you can do to adjust. And that's what I think is so, so cool. Why is it important that healthcare providers look at the whole person rather than just a diagnosis?
Because a diagnosis is a quick fix. So you get a diagnosis, you're given a medication to address that symptom, but you're not really looking at what caused the symptom to begin with. And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be looking at the root cause problem, and it can be anything. It can be what we just discussed, the food sensitivities. It could be, your lifestyle. You're under a lot of stress. You don't sleep well. You don't use the bathroom right. You're not moving like you should. You're in a sedentary job, and so you sit all day, and then you go home and you don't have the energy to get up and do anything because you're tired. So that's why looking at the whole body is important. Back to the topic of hypertension. There can be some genetic factors in that, but a lot of times it is really a lifestyle,
right?
It's what you've been eating for years. It's that stress. That stress can ruin people and cause high blood pressure. So we have to flesh that stuff out. And I don't want to just throw a pill at a patient. I don't think that's the answer. I believe that we need to really work hard to figure out what the root cause is. And then, as I said before, as the patient, you have to be willing to do the work and make the changes necessary. And if you can do that, you're going to reap the rewards of that.
I always say, what I like about your practice is that, if you come in and you have a rash, you're just not going to give a cream. What's going on with that rash?
Right.
That's really a cool idea, So what do you think the misconceptions that people have about integrative medicine?
Well, I think that our society is so trained to believe that conventional medicine is the only way to go. Sometimes patients will look at their provider as like a god, I'm going to only do what you tell me to do and I'm not doing anything else. And so if they've gone to a conventional practice and they've been given this medication, but then they come to integrative medicine, if they come, then they're thinking probably oh, this is woo-woo stuff. What are you going to do to me here? You're not my doctor. There is a misconception about integrative health. And I don't think it's a matter of conventional versus integrative. I think that we need to work together. And I think that's where the change needs to come. In a conventional practice, providers get 15 minutes. That's it. You get 15 minutes with a patient. And generally you're running late. And so that shaves off that 15 minutes. Now it's 9 minutes. And then you're going to try to get this patient's information, go over whatever lab results you had done or imaging or whatever, and then prescribe a pill and send them out the door. Whereas in integrative medicine, we're going to look at the dietary thing is the biggest thing to me. So we look at the diet, we look at all the other lifestyle factors that are involved. We spend time listening. That's the big key there. We aren't rushed. And we also have other things, at Priority Medical Group, we offer, if you've got a condition called lipedema or lymphedema, we offer compression therapy for that. We have a chiropractor. Right now we have a gal that's doing acupuncture. She's using space for that. So we do a lot of things there that are not found in a regular doctor's office, and that's what makes it integrated.
How does building a relationship with the patient improves the healthcare outcomes? Because you were saying that, people have only a few minutes. What's different about your clinic?
I think that when you're able to actually look a patient in the eye, listen to what they have to say, that builds trust. And once trust is built, once that patient realizes, I can trust this person with my care, then that's a big difference. And I know that happens in conventional medicine too. It's not unrealistic that a provider wouldn't have that kind of relationship with a patient. But I just think that in that rushed environment, it's harder to actually get to build that trust. And then a lot of times, they're given a medicine, then they experience side effects from the medicine, and then they have to come back, and then they tell them, oh gosh, I had side effects. And they're like, okay, well, let's change it to this one. So it's just a pill rotation. Let's try this. Oh, that didn't work? Okay, now let's try this. Whereas I really think the root cause is that diet, stress, sleep, moving your body, all that stuff. And I know that people hear this all the time. If you turn on the news,
Right.
we hear it on the news. If you pick up a magazine or you're on the internet, you're going to see something about this. And I think it's a matter of just educating patients that it doesn't have to be just a symptom, a pill, and move on. There's things that you can do to change the outcome.
I have also heard that people have to kind of look at it too as what happens if you put diesel in a regular car? It's not going to run. That's the same with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Research shows that we have over 10,000 items in the United States that aren't available in other countries. And that's huge. So we have to start, like you said, with your diet, with those kind of things, those small changes that you can do with your health. It starts there. So
Yeah.
I love the fact that you highlight that. What excites you most about this kind of healthcare?
Well, when I started working at Priority Medical Group, I had never actually done the food sensitivity testing thing before. We've done food allergy testing, which is a little different. But with the food sensitivity issue, I've seen so many patients now come back in and go, oh my gosh, I feel so much better because I stopped eating A, B, and C. And that's what excites me the most because you actually see people getting better. They feel good. You know, they're less achy and inflamed all over. They're sleeping better. Their bowel habits have improved, all that stuff. And that's what excites me the most about integrative medicine.
Because you're seeing results.
Right.
And people are coming in and they're like, you're a lifesaver.
Yeah. And the other thing too, and I'd like to touch on this because I think that we've turned away, we're coming back to the natural elements. So plant-based medicine, essential oils, herbs, all those kinds of things can also help. And that was given to us, I mean, you know, for heaven's sake, by the Lord himself, right? We've got all these plants and they're available to us, but as a modern society, we're afraid of them. And we need to have that education that it's okay. We can use herbs and we can use some supplements and different things to help us along. It doesn't have to be forever, but it can help during the process of getting better.
If there's one thing that someone could learn from our conversation and take away, what do you feel like it could be for the listeners out there?
I think that if you're not feeling well and you've been to your provider and you just kind of walk away with the same thing, you've got a new prescription, maybe a new imaging, which imaging is valuable. All that's valuable. I'm not ditching that at all. But if you've been there and you just don't feel like you're being heard and you're being taken care of, then that's where integrative medicine comes in, and you need to give it a chance, give it a try. And if you're finding yourself in need for a new primary care provider, we're there.
And where are you located at?
We're at Priority Medical Group in Marion on North Atchison Avenue.
And are you taking new patients?
Yes.
Okay. The other thing that I love to hear is a little bit of your story. So because you have gone through some challenges, can you kind of tell us a little bit about that?
I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. And just prior to that, I had patients asking me all the time about essential oils, and I knew nothing at all about them. And so I ended up connecting with a friend of mine who had been a closet oiler for 11 years. I had no idea. I'd known her for a long time. I had no idea she used oils. But I found out that she did, and I said, well, give me your information. I want to know. And so I ended up buying a kit from this company, and I started learning, and I actually had positive results after 2 weeks of using one of those oils. I was like, this is amazing. So 2 months after I got my kit, I got the breast cancer diagnosis. And I really feel like God knew what I needed before I knew what I needed.
Right.
And so I went through the treatment and did all that stuff. And then while I was going through that, I started studying the oils, and I found out the benefits of all those oils. And so I, to this day, use oils every single day for some reason or another. That was an eye-opener for me. You know, I was very kind of turned off initially when people come in and say, what do you know about essential oils? I'm being, I don't know, and I don't have time to learn. You know, don't have the capacity for that one right now. But after learning, I realized, boy, there is something to this. And now Since then, I'm learning a lot more about herbs and treatments for cancer and different things like that people don't know, because what's the treatment for cancer? It's surgery, chemo, radiation. And if I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't have gone the route that I went. I would try a different route first, considering the kind of cancer I had. I wouldn't say that that's right for everybody, but for me, that would have been the right thing to do.
What I love is that you have done the different approaches, that it's not just cookie cutter and here it is. And that's what I love about it all. Because I have a friend that was diagnosed with brain and lung cancer. They gave her about 6 months. She actually started the holistic, and she just went to the doctor, and there's no longer any.
Right. I also have a friend whose mother was diagnosed with a brain tumor, which is a death sentence.
Yes.
And she had surgery. The tumor grew back really rapidly. And her daughter, who is functional medicine, convinced her mother finally, please let me do these treatments with you. Well, she sent me a text a few weeks ago and said the tumor's completely gone. And it's because she was using functional medicine approaches. She had the chemo, she had the radiation, she did all the things, but the tumor's gone. And it's not because of all that. It's because of the approach that her daughter used on her. So there's value in it.
Well, and that's the thing. There's this hope, and that's what I love about it. It doesn't necessarily hurt anything on the aspect of you're trying something new. So
Right.
Thank you. Time is already up.
Oh, okay.
So we would love for you to come back some other time and some other issues on health and wellness.
Okay.
The future of your healthcare is patient-centered. It's about listening, preventing disease when possible, treating the whole person, and empowering the individuals to take an active role in their wellness journey. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Moments That Matter. If you find value in today's conversation, please subscribe, share this episode with someone that you care about, and follow us for more stories and resources that make the difference in our communities. Until next time, remember that the moments that matter most are often the ones that help us live healthier, fuller, and more connected lives.
Moments That Matter is brought to you by Binkley Ross Family of Funeral Homes. Locally owned and operated. Binkley Ross Funeral Home, Blue Funeral Home, Mitchell Hughes Funeral Home. Call 618-997-7771 or go to binkleyross.com. And First Southern Bank. Bank with people you know, who know and love Southern Illinois. Community banking at its best. Find us at firstsouthernbank.net.